Welcome back to another update day in Old School, and this week we have some big changes to the Wilderness and the Colosseum. To kick things off, we have a brand new monster being the Undead Pirates. These new pirates are located inside of the Chaos Temple alongside the Elder Chaos Druids in the 9 to 14 level Wilderness, and they are intended to be a quick to kill new consistent moneymaker, but this comes with some new risks. First off, Elder Chaos Druids are now able to teleblock you if you get within a certain number of tiles of them. And another change, they've also opened the southern entrance to the Chaos Temple. So there's now going to be two different entrances to the new area. But to go with those small changes, the Undead Pirates also have some unique drops. Before we jump into that though, if you do wear an Amulet of Avarice here, it will note your drops just like inside of the Red Caves. But for a couple of the uniques, there is an uncommon chance to drop the new Adamant Seeds or a Teleport Anchoring Scroll. Both of these uniques are tradable. First off, the Adamant Seeds work just like Mithril Seeds, except you'll move to the east rather than to the west. And then the Teleport Anchoring Scroll is a new one-time consumable item that essentially makes you immune to the teleport attacks of Chaos Druids or Abyssal Demons. They also drop new Zombie Pirate Keys, which are tradable keys used to open a chest on a pirate ship, which is located on the eastern shore. The ship is located in a single-way combat zone, and the loot from opening these chests is essentially just the regular pirate's loot table, but it doubles any of the loot you receive, including uniques. Now for some quick Colosseum changes before we jump back into the Wilderness. There has been a bunch of changes to some of the invocations. Bees have essentially been buffed by making them take longer to respawn and they move slower. The Doom Scorpion has been entirely removed. The original Doom modifier has been slightly buffed, making it a little easier to sustain, and it resets each round. Relentless has been made a little less harsh. Myopia now affects auto-casted spells along with range, but manually casted spells remain unaffected. And then we also have a brand new modifier being the Manti Mayhem. And then finally for the Colosseum, there has been a massive buff to the unique drops. The chance of receiving a unique has been massively buffed, along with the fact you can now potentially get one starting in Wave 3 instead of the originally Wave 6 prior to this week's update. As for a few other smaller changes that will impact the prices of the uniques as well, Echo Crystals now adds 6,000 charges to the Echo Boots, up from 2,500. And the new range weapon, the Raylo's special attacks defense reduction is no longer capped at 50% of the target's defense. There was also a mistake last week's update in terms of the Perilous Moons drop rate. There is not an additional 1 in 56 chance of obtaining unique from each respective boss kill. Therefore, the chance of receiving unique is actually 1 in 18.6 rather than the original 1 in 14 they mentioned last week. But then as for some other massive changes to the Wilderness, we have the new Agility Course changes. There is a new opt-in loot system at the Wilderness Agility Course. There is a shiny new dispenser at the entrance. And for an upfront fee of 150k, you will start gaining loot after completing every single lap. All you'd have to do is simply touch the pillar and you receive your loot and an energy top-off. If you do die within the agility course after opting in and paying the 150k, you will lose the 150k you deposited. But if you are a PKer, you don't receive the 150k GP like if you killed somebody in the Rev Caves. Not to mention the loot from each of these laps increases at different levels. For your first 15 laps, you'll receive an average of 10k per lap. Whereas if you start completing 31 to 60 laps in a specific run, for each individual lap, you would average 30k loot. And as I've mentioned right here, the expected loot you would receive from these is basically a 50-50 split of alchables or blighted items. And if you do happen to have open inventory slots, you will receive some unnoted blighted items. There's also a new 1 in 40 chance of receiving a medium clue scroll per lap completed. The course will now be changed to singles plus combat similar to the Rev Cave, so it will prevent boxing, skeletons, or anything else inside of the arena. And regardless of depositing the 150k GP, to opt into the loot system, even without it, you will be earning improved XP rates at the course. Similar to the Brimhaven Agility course, there will now be a new ticket system. At the end of every lap, you'll be given a Wilderness Agility ticket that can be redeemed at the dispenser for a baseline of 200 XP per ticket. And the more tickets you turn in one single occasion, you will receive a buffed up XP drop. Overall, those are the massive changes out of the way for the Wilderness, but there's also been some slight tweaks. They've reduced the respawn timers for almost all NPCs, including bosses, but not including Revenants. They've improved the quantity of some of the monsters for the Wilderness Slayer tasks, And they've also slightly improved the drop rates of the high-level rogues and bandits by adding rune items to their drop tables. Superiors now have a 10% additional chance to spawn in the wilderness on Slayer tasks, and dying with an imbued item that is lost on death like a B-Ring Eye will now refund either the points or the imbue scroll used to create it. And then lastly, they've made some adjustments that team PvPers can't help each other as much in single-way combat zones. But with that, that's everything from this week's update. If you are looking forward to testing out some of this wilderness stuff, let me know down in the comments below. If you guys did enjoy or found this video helpful, consider dropping a like, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.